I'm like you. You seem to know me, but that's frankly hard to tell. It's so hard to see, and that sounds mighty nice to me. I took a swim in the middle of the night. The water felt like skin, cause it dripped right off like bar, like cars do. Carbon when they go, when they spit. Exhausting, I use paper mache to make a model of my tongue, and I put it in my mouth, and I could kiss myself because I'd always wonder what it felt like. The bites felt good. I let ants into my head, they broke it down like wood, and they grew like wood. Skull broke like rocks off guard, like on watch guards, watch cops. I stopped like traffic, dropped like a casket, and broke on the ground like $1,000 ceramic. Then I went through the dirt just like rain. I went into your head, drew red like veins. Your mortal eyes popped like love the first date. I saw it, your face, don't go at my pace, just wait. There's too much space, there's just too much space. There's too much space, there's too much space, there's just too much space. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Big shout out to the guy who produced that beat, the producer named Cognate, and my name is Eric Axelman.
My name is Taylor Lomba.
So obviously, we perform hip-hop music. I'm a rapper, Taylor's a dancer. But to us, hip-hop is much, much, much more than simply an art form.
Hip-hop is a lifestyle. And hip-hop is a culture that really was born from Black and Latino youth in the early 1970s in the streets of New York. Whew, excuse me. Since then, hip-hop has evolved to become a global, multicultural phenomenon, embodying the lives and perspectives of people from totally different places around the world.
And so it's really interesting how different people interact with hip-hop. So right now, we're in Maine. And I'm originally from Maine as well. I'm from a very small town called Norridgewock, Maine. Who knows Norridgewock? Okay, okay. I appreciate the applause. I appreciate the applause. It's a good town. I'll let them know that you guys think it's cool. Next to the slightly larger town of Skowhegan, which is a metropolis to us, of course. I went to Skowhegan High School. And so Maine is the whitest state in the country. As of the last census in 2010, Maine was 96.9% white. Right? And the second whitest state is New Hampshire, I believe, and then Vermont. So northern New England is actually the whitest part of the United States. But youth in Maine, like yourselves, oftentimes love hip-hop. And growing up in Norridgewock, hip-hop was by far the most popular form of music. So in middle school, we had these dances at the Skowhegan Rec Center from like 5th grade to 8th grade, and they were barely chaperoned, and it's amazing that our parents let us go to them. But we went every single Friday. It was the happening thing in Skowhegan. Everybody went. And if I think about the type of music played at these dances from when I was like 11 to 13 or whatever, I would say it was probably like 10% rock, like 30% country, and then like 60% hip-hop. And hip-hop was definitely the dominant form of music. And again, in rural Maine, there's a strange blend of like country and hip-hop. Those are like the two biggest art forms. And if I think about high school, walking around the hallways of Skowhegan High School, by far the most popular music being played was hip-hop. And at the time, it was like 50 Cent and Eminem, which I know dates me a little bit. I'm getting old. But what's interesting is that, in Skowhegan, we had no contact with communities of color. Skowhegan is unbelievably white. But despite that fact, the kids, including myself and other white kids, loved black music without really understanding much about black culture. But it's interesting, at the same time they really liked black music, they would oftentimes actually disrespect and be racist towards black people. So I heard, just as an example, I heard the N-word every single day growing up in Skowhegan High School, every day. And I talk with young people all over the country, white young people oftentimes, and they say the same thing, that kids use it in a casual way, like, what up, They think that they're kind of joking around, but it's really offensive. That's just one way that kind of kids, show their lack of understanding for kind of different cultures.
So as for me, I grew up in a town called Dartmouth, Massachusetts, which is a mostly white neighborhood. And my family was probably one of the only families that wasn't entirely white. You know, my mom is from the Azores, from Portugal, and my dad is Cape Verdean, which makes me and my siblings mixed race. Now, one of my first ways I got exposed to hip-hop was through my brother-in-law, who is a b-boy who's been dancing for a lot longer than I have. My brother-in-law, his name is Raz, has traveled across the East Coast and like connected with different communities, practiced with different people, really got to develop his style by dancing with people from different perspectives for a long time. So this is the person who really put me on to the foundation of the dance, who put me on to the music, the mentality, you know, what it means to practice, what it means to be a b-boy, which is someone who breaks. Now, one thing you might not expect from hearing this story is that Raz is actually white. So here you have a white person in hip-hop putting me onto what a lot of people might consider Black and Latino originated art form. So Raz is part of this crew called Swift Characters. And shortly after I started dancing, this also became my crew. And Swift Characters really shaped my high school experience and everything that's really developed since then. We just have, in Swift Characters, a really diverse group of people. You know, we have people from all different kinds of racial identities, all different income levels, places where they started from, and different life experiences. And it's really through hip-hop that all of these different people come together. And we've been practicing together for, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week for the past 10 years. And even before it was for that long, it really felt like family. And it continues to as we discover ourselves and discover each other through this dance.
Totally. And when people are integrated, and when communities are integrated, understanding other people's cultures and creating respect for other people's cultures often comes very easily. But when communities are separated, and when people are segregated, we often only learn about other cultures and other people through the media. When we learn solely about other cultures through the media, we often learn about other communities in a stereotyped fashion. So, quick question for you guys. I know this dates me a little bit, but who has seen 8 Mile? All right, like at least half you guys. All right, cool, I'm not that old yet. All right, so what is 8 Mile? Who actually knows what 8 Mile is? A place in Detroit, excellent. So I'm gonna show you guys a map of Detroit really quickly. This is Detroit right here, the setting of 8 Mile. It's a map based off the 2010 census, the one that showed that Maine was the whitest state, which it's been for a very long time. And each dot on this map, if you zoomed in, there's lots and lots of individual dots, represents a person from the 2010 census. And the color of the dot represents their self-identified race that they checked off in the census. And, as you can see, blue in this map is white, green is black, red is Asian, et cetera, et cetera. And as you can see, there's an incredibly stark dividing line in Detroit between the white community in the south, black community in the south and the white community in the north. And that line right there, that's 8 Mile. 8 Mile is a road in Detroit that's the primary segregating force in Detroit. And most American cities, especially large American cities, but our small ones too, have oftentimes these segregating lines. They're often roads or rivers or downtown areas that totally segregate our cities. And so it's really easy to rag on rural areas for being segregated, which they are. But our cities are just as segregated, simply in different ways. And so many people in the country, and especially white people, oftentimes live in these racially homogenous bubbles where they're only interacting with other cultures through the media. And that was most certainly the way that people in my area, including myself, of course, were interacting with hip-hop as I was growing up.
So why don't we talk a little bit about Iggy Azalea? Does everyone know who Iggy Azalea is?
So Iggy Azalea is a hip-hop artist from Australia, a white woman from Australia, who began, again, like me, listening to hip-hop kind of far away from where hip-hop started, right? And so she came to the US and became a highly successful commercial hip-hop artist. But a lot of people were kind of upset with how she was approaching hip-hop, especially people inside the culture itself. So I'm gonna read you guys a quick quote from a black female author in Salon magazine talking about Iggy Azalea. As a born and raised Southern girl, I resent Iggy Azalea for her co-optation and appropriation of sonic Southern blackness, particularly the sonic blackness of Southern black women. Every time she raps the line, "Tell me how you love that," in her song Fancy, I want to scream, "I don't love that. I hate it." The line is offensive because this Australian-born and raised white girl almost convincingly mimics the sonic register of a down-home Atlanta girl. The question is why? Why is her mimicry of sonic blackness okay? Though rap music is a black and brown art form, one does not need to mimic blackness to be good at it. Ask the Beastie Boys, or Eminem, or Macklemore. These are just a smattering of the white men who've been successful in rap in the last 30 years, and generally they don't have to appropriate blackness to do it. And that's like Brittany Cooper from Salon. So what you're saying is that, I'm not hating on Iggy Azalea for being white, I'm hating on her for copying someone else's style, very, very explicitly. And so, when we go into other people's cultures, like, of course, I did with hip-hop, it's really important to think about what you're taking from it, and then also what you're adding to it, and making sure that you're really adding your own flavor. Again, like, I began listening to the Beastie Boys at a very young age. They're one of the people who really got me to hip-hop. And again, they really bring their own flavor to this music. And so it's really important to think about those things as we move into other cultures.
And of course, the same thing can be seen in the dance world. So, as a b-boy or a b-girl, right, these are the names we give to ourselves as people of the culture, as practitioners of the dance who take it seriously. Now, part of being a b-boy or a b-girl is being able to bring your own character to the dance, your own style, your own way, your own perspective. Now, if you don't do that, and you just you mimic, right, or you just rely on a flashy move that is gonna get attention, right, you're basically only approaching the stereotype of breaking. Oh, I'm gonna head spin, do stuff like that. If you are not bringing your style and your character to it, you won't be able to be respected as a b-boy or a b-girl, because it basically sends the message that, oh, I don't really see how much deeper this is or what this means. I'm not really bringing what it means to me to the dance form, and so I can't understand what it means to you. So it's really key to be able to bring that genuine love and respect and appreciation into the dance. When you do that within yourself, you discover that in yourself, you're able to get down in the cypher with other people, in the dance circle, and see that in other people, to bring it out of them as well. And when other people are doing that at the same time, they're bringing their realness, their character, their style of intelligence into their art form. They inspire you to I have my own ideas too. So it's really by giving that genuine love and appreciation and real respect to the culture, which comes from that genuine love and respect for yourself, that you make that connection and you gain that respect back from the culture.
Totally. And again, I started out really knowing not much about hip-hop. I started out just learning through the media as well. And again, it takes kind of getting out of your bubble and really trying to get into a community and learning about what it is to kind of both learn a lot and then, get love back. And so it's been really encouraging, in the past couple of years I've been doing this, that I've been working with a lot of young people who come from these kind of racially homogenous bubbles, who love hip-hop, but when we give them the opportunity to get out of their bubble and really experience hip-hop, they take it. And it's scary, and getting out of your bubble is always scary, but they're willing to do it. Right? And when they do that, when they really show up and they're themselves, they get a lot of love back. They really do. But at the same time, it's also been disappointing that certain students I've worked with who really love hip-hop, they listen to it all the time, when given the opportunity to get outside of their bubble, they don't take it.
I definitely think that as a human being, you have a responsibility to understand that we're all in a bubble. All of us have our own bubble in different ways. And as a b-boy or a b-girl, one of the things that is really emphasized is understanding where you are and understanding what your bubble is and knowing your boundaries and learning about them so you can push on them. And then you can break them. Finding out where you can break them allows you to take your style and your character into a new place and to really improve yourself as a human being, right? So you can push these boundaries that are artistic or physical. But really, by practicing this, it's a metaphor for pushing other boundaries that are personal or social or political. So remember to continue pushing yourself, In breaking, we say this thing, there's no biting, right? You've always got to continue keeping your style fresh, taking it to the next level and seeing what that means to you. So, to respect the culture is to learn the foundation. To respect yourself is to be original. And to do both is to understand why we love hip hop so much.
Thank you, guys. I went to sleep, I woke up wet, you were scared, I didn't mind, it wasn't mine, I had my mind prepared, you held my hand like God, but I blew like dust quite slowly, I drifted away like love, you said, if you leave we can't shed tears together, I was ready to spend all our years together, I said we're here together, so we're still together, come sick, we'll just disappear together, well why, wait, there's too much space, there's just too much space, there's too much space. There's too much space, there's just too much space. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Thank you guys very much. Thank you guys.